Welcome back to the Life in Balance podcast, where we discuss research-based evidence regarding health so that you can be empowered to make better health decisions. And again, niko na Dr. Peter Lema, and today we're going to be talking about something ambacho kimekuwa kinasumbua watu wengi. I'm sure wewe au utakuwa unajua ndugu au rafiki ambaye amekuwa anapata changamoto ya uzito, ya kupunguza uzito. As we know kwamba inahusiana na magonjwa kama kisukari na mengine tu ni jinsi tu ya miili yetu ilivyo. So today we're going to be looking at a groundbreaking medication ambayo inaitwa Ozempic, ambayo imepitishwa, imetumika sana kwenye bara la America na Europe, and we're going to be talking about inafanyaje kazi, is it safe na kadhalika. Karibu Daktari.
Asante sana, Dr. Desiree. As you've introduced the topic, I think it's a very interesting topic.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners will be waiting to hear about what we have to say.
Yes.
And it's exciting that we have a recent research that breaks down the efficacy, the side effects, potential benefits and risks of Ozempic. So I'm sure this is going to be an interesting topic.
It's very interesting kwa sababu unajua hata kwenye practice ya medicine, right? Kwamba utaenda kwa daktari, kitu cha kwanza atakupima uzito, atakupima urefu, atakupa BMI, atakwambia mama inabidi upunguze uzito, kaka inabidi upunguze uzito, right?
Yeah.
But never really it's not a solution. As much as we know kwamba lifestyle makes a big difference, lakini it's hard kwa sababu ya maisha yalivyo sasa hivi, and research and scientists wamekuwa wanaendelea na research every time kuangalia how they can go about it. Kwa sababu ukisema uanze kufanya consistent exercise na diet, yes, it might take some time and it might be hard for some people, right? And that's why kwenye market kuna a lot of products, a lot of people saying kwamba this tea helps kupunguza uzito, that thing helps with this, blah blah blah. So we're excited to be discussing about Ozempic au inaita Wegovy as a drug ambayo imepitishwa recently in America, inakuwa prescribed na madaktari for weight loss. So let's start in moja kwa moja tujue what is Ozempic, ni dawa aina gani, and then we'll take it on from there.
Okay, so Ozempic is the generic name of Ozempic is semaglutide, which is a medication which has been used for more than 20 years to treat type 2 diabetes. So it was primarily found to treat type 2 diabetes. But over time, over the use of it on managing diabetes, people who were using it were found to have some benefits rather than just managing their blood sugars. They were seen to be losing weight and to be having a better cardiovascular outcomes. So that sparked a research into more details about how is this medication causing this effect. And then over time people realized that when you use on higher doses, it actually has an effect of weight loss. So over the past, I think 3-4 years, it started to be used mostly in Europe, as you stated, as a medication for weight loss, and currently it's FDA approved for weight loss.
I think it was approved 2021. I think FDA ndio release your statement baada ya kufanya all the analysis and everything, na waka approve. Sasa I think what they approved is the same active ingredient kama ulivyosema semaglutide, lakini Wegovy is another name ambayo ni trade name kwa hiyo dawa ambayo imepitishwa for weight loss. For weight loss. Kwa Ozempic traditionally ni for kisukari, type 2 diabetes. So how does it work? Tukiongelea sasa hii Ozempic inafanyaje kazi?
As I said, it's called generically it's known as semaglutide. And it's a GLP-1 agonist with a glucagon peptide glucagon-like peptide 1 agonist, which is it's a chemical which helps the body to regulate the amount of food that we eat, but also it has an effect on the pancreas to make it release insulin. So primarily, just to answer the question, is Wegovy au Ozempic inafanya kazi sehemu kuu tatu za mwili, kwenye ubongo primarily, especially in high doses that are used for weight loss, also in your GI system, kwenye mfumo wako wa chakula, na pia kwenye kongosho.
So basically hapo inamaanisha kwenye what you're saying kwamba kwenye ubongo itasaidia vitu kama kupunguza appetite. Alafu ukienda kwenye tumbo wanasema inapunguza gastric emptying. So the food you eat, kwamba the rate ambayo itakiwa chakula kitoke tumboni mpaka uende ukakiexcrete inapungua, so that now it sends a signal to your brain kwamba you still have something, and that's a way that your appetite pia inakuwa ipo low. And kama ulivyosema ya mwisho kwenye pancreas ni kwamba inaongeza production of
insulin production.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we got that right. So kwenye ubora na ufanyaji kazi wake, how does Ozempic compare to other weight loss solutions. And our means?
I think Ozempic has shown like very high efficacy.
Yeah.
That's
Surprisingly high.
Surprisingly high.
Yeah.
Actually research says the only thing that compares to it is surgery, which is bariatric surgery, like gastric band, and we've talked about kuweka puto tumboni recently.
It would be interesting to know the comparison. Puto na yenyewe.
Yeah, puto is a little bit different, but nadhani pia inafaa kwenye kundi la bariatric surgery, which has a very high efficacy in terms of weight management and weight loss. And most of the time all kind of bariatric surgery for weight loss zinamsaidia mtu kuweza kupungua uzito mpaka 25% ya uzito wake, which is huge. That's a lot. That's a lot. And Ozempic has close to those numbers. And there's nothing, there has not been a medication or any other way of weight loss that has come close to that. So I think that's why Ozempic is currently like a trend. And everybody wants it. Everybody wants to lose weight. As much the minute they hear about Ozempic, they want it.
I know there's even news was breaking out, I think this year, since last year in America. Ilitengenezwa kwa ajili ya wagonjwa wa kisukari, type 2 diabetic patients. Lakini over time there was scarcity kwa sababu everybody started using it. Kwa hata ile production from the manufacturers ikawa ipo low. So there was actually even scarcity of the drug kwa ajili ya wagonjwa wenyewe. Than kwa sababu watu wengi wameshaona side effect yake ya kupunguza uzito, then wakaitumia.
I actually heard this I was reading this publication and they were saying at some point, I think in 2020, 2021, if you go to Europe and you want to buy Ozempic, it costs around £200, somewhere around there. But if you go to America and you want the same medication, it's about $800 to $1,200.
So demand,
because of demand.
The demand is high.
So I think, as you're saying, I think that also has affected the market in terms of pricing, because now it's no longer a medication it's no longer an ingredient that is used to make medication for diabetic patients. It's a medication that pretty much anyone should use at some point in their life, because we all struggle with weight management at some point, whether you're thin or you have a very you have a big BMI. At some point you want to manage your weight.
I think you're right. Now it's important to point out kwamba as much as inatumika, and we're going to talk about madhara yake in a minute, lakini it's indicated for people who are obese na wenye BMI zaidi ya 30, if I'm correct. So it's not indicated for anyone, although it's used by everyone kwa sababu ya effect yake ambayo inaileta kwenye weight loss. And I think maybe just to also mention other medications ambazo ziko similar to Ozempic, ambayo active ingredient yake ni semaglutide. Kuna hizi tirzepatide ambayo ni commonly known as Manjaro, very common in the market right now. We have dulaglutide and liraglutide, ambayo all of them zinafanya kazi in the same mechanism, kumimic tu hizo receptors za GLP-1 or GLP. So okay, going forward, can we talk of madhara sasa? Like are there any side effects or some things that people should know in terms of negative effects? We know kwamba perfect kabisa. Results are good as far as weight loss is concerned. Are there any negative sides?
Well, there are. Maybe to highlight, I would like to highlight the benefits before we go to side effects.
Let's go.
Based on the research that have been done, Ozempic has shown to have an efficacy of weight reduction of 5% up to 25% of your body weight. So if right now you have a certain body weight, say 100, you use Ozempic over the course of maybe 1 year or a couple of months, most of the time you have to use it up to 1 year, 1 year and a half, some people up to 2 years, you have a high chance of losing 5 to 25% of your body weight, which is a lot.
And an average actually is more than, like you cut maybe between 15 and 20, right?
Yeah, yeah. An average is that, like, for more than 85% of people who have used it, have seen more than 5% reduction in their body weight. And 60 to 65% of people have seen up to 20 to 25% of weight loss, which
that's significant.
The only thing that's gonna come close to that is surgery. And we all know that as human beings, we'll try to avoid surgery as much as possible. And another thing is mode of delivery or administration. So currently there are 2 modes of administration of Ozempic. The good thing, they're all self-administered. So there's a subcutaneous administration, which you get 1 shot per week.
Subcutaneous inamaanisha
hiyo ni injectable.
Injectable, so ujichome.
Kama tu insulin. Kwa sababu unajichoma chini ya ngozi. Na most of them zimetengenezwa kwa namna ambavyo mtu unaweza kujichoma mwenyewe. Kama ambavyo, again, from the management of diabetes.
Yes.
I think they just, since the same people who are producing anti-diabetic are the one who producing it, it was easy to take that technology there. So kuna kitu wanakiita Ozempic pen. I think it's very famous in Europe. I'm not sure if they're available here in Tanzania, because most of the Ozempic products I've seen in Tanzania are in tabs. Ambazo kwenye tabs sasa unameza kila siku. Tofauti na sindano ambao unachoma moja kwa wiki. Tabs unameza kila siku. They have different quantity in terms of weight, au niseme in terms of composition and dose. An injectable is mostly around 2.4 up to 5 milligram. And tabs can go up to 50 milligram. Yeah, but research shows they all have the same effect or efficacy in terms of your weight loss journey and vitu kama hivyo.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So to go now into the side effects.
Now, before you go, in terms of dose, I think above, maybe we should just touch on overdose. There's been a lot of talk in media. I think CNN Health will report. I don't know if it's Forbes News. I think will report. A lot of media outlets are kind of how there's a concern that kumekuwa na overdose ya hizi nani. Kwamba yes, recommended maybe inaweza ikawa nini, lakini watu wana overdose ili waweze kupata even more weight results in a long time.
I think probably that is coming first from the societal pressure, because now the way we define beauty is with a certain weight, which is not a lot. Kwa hiyo people always try to do that, but also on the fact that there's not much that is known in terms of side effects, because it's a new drug, this is a new practice. So people are only hearing about the good thing about Ozempic. So in our sukuma, kuji-overdose, kupata matokeo anayoyataka, kwa sababu hamna mtu anayewaambia a lot about the side effects and long-term effects.
Na hamna any significance ambazo ziko reported so far.
Okay. Most of the adverse effects au madhara ambayo yanaripotiwa ni mild to moderate na ni ya muda mfupi. Kwa hiyo nadhani inaongeza room ya watu kutumia zaidi na chances za watu kuji-overdose. Nadhani pia ni kitu ambacho kinapatikana over the counter in some countries. So which means mtu anaweza akajipangia dose
kama supplement yake. Okay, sawa. So back to madhara. I think most of the reported ones, madhara ya kutumia hizi, I think we were discussing before, upande wa side effects kwenye upande wa mambo ya tumbo. So you're vomiting, utapata nausea, saa ingine diarrhea. So ni changamoto ambazo zinakuja kwenye upande labda dalili ambazo zinakuja kwenye mfumo wa chakula. Ambazo zimekuwa reported. I don't know if there's any other ambazo
mostly those are the mostly very well documented and reported side effects. And as I said, they are most of the time intermediate and they are mild to moderate. So ni dalili ambazo mara nyingi zinaonekana kwanza mtu anapoanza dawa, na pili mtu anapoongezewa dozi ya dawa. Kwa sababu pia kwa watu wengi the modality ya kuitoa dawa ya Ozempic, unaanza kwenye small dose then inakuwa titrated up. So most of the time when you're titrating it up, when you're introducing a stronger dose, that's when people get those side effects, ambao mostly zimehusishwa na kubadilika kwa gut microbiomes, kusababisha hizo nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. Kwa watu pia wanapata constipation. But there have been talks, scientific talks about the effect in the brain.
Okay.
Because what we are learning right now is that Ozempic has a primary effect in the brain. All the effect that we are seeing in terms of weight loss starts from the effect of Ozempic in the brain.
In the brain.
Yeah, there's a study where they tried to inject Ozempic to a rat. And after doing that, they cut open the rat and remove the brain and try to do like a tracing of the medication, and it was all scattered in the brain, which shows it does cross blood-brain barrier like 100%, and it goes there primarily. So there's a lot we don't know about its effect in the brain, but so far what has been found or what has been documented is there's an effect in pleasure points in the brain. Ndio maana tunasema kwamba au ndio maana watu wengi ambao wanatumia Ozempic, kitu cha kwanza ambacho wana notice ni kupungua kwa appetite. So kama ulikuwa unakula sana, ulikuwa mpenzi sana wa certain kind of food, especially this junk food, the first thing you're going to notice after you start using Ozempic is that your appetite for those things inapungua. And the way that you can explain that scientifically is that your pleasure to after consumption of those things inapungua. Automatically desire ya kuzitumia zaidi inapungua. So that's one thing.
Yeah, and that I think that's what interests people the most. Biggest complaints ukienda kwa dietitian au kwa nutritionist as far as weight and our lifestyle, as far as cooler is concerned, ni vitu kama appetite, cravings,
addiction.
Tulikuwa tunaongea the other time, uraibu. It's like uraibu. It's like the way we talk about sugar, it's like uraibu. So I think this is very groundbreaking in terms of imeweza at least kuzuia hivyo vitu ambavyo vimekuwa a big challenge kwa
I think there's a room of more innovative ways to in terms of practice of use of Ozempic, because if it has that much promising effect or potential in terms of managing addiction, there's a lot of way that we can learn on how we can use it as medical personnel to actually manage addiction.
It actually is kama vitu ulikuwa unaongelea kwamba ina positive effects kwenye cardiovascular health. Watu wanaongelea high lipids, hyperlipidemia inashushwa with it. So not just weight, but like there's a few other elements that are associated. Okay, so there's been a common thing. Ukiacha kutumia Ozempic, baada ya kutumia, umeshatumia baada ya muda fulani, ukiacha, do you get a rebound weight increase, and how does that compare to other solutions?
Well, unfortunately, the research shows yes. Kuna uwezekano wa kupata rebound. Up to 65% of people who used it for some time and then stopped get a rebound of again up to 60 to 65% of their weight.
Kwa kama ulikuwa na kilo zako 100 ukazipunguza, kwa ukiacha kutumia na maanisha utagain 60% ya zile 100 ulizokuwa umezipunguza.
Zile kilo ambazo umezipoteza.
Kwa kama uli lose 60 kilos, so 60% ya 60 kilo utarudi. Kwa 60% ni kama ngapi? So maybe 40 kilos.
Maybe 40, 45. So. But I think a good thing about Ozempic will be kwamba inakufanya adjust your lifestyle. Sababu kama itashusha your cravings, kama itakufanya uweze kuadhere into a different eating style tofauti na uliokuwa nao mwanzoni, kuna uwezekano mkubwa kuweza kuendelea na hiyo lifestyle. Kwa sababu as much as you will have to adhere to that while you're using Ozempic, kwa sababu it has that effect over time, your body is going to adjust to that kind of lifestyle. So I think because our body always adapt and learn whatever we try to expose to them.
It's also important to point out pia kwamba yes, utarudisha 60% of the weight that you lost, lakini pia ukitumia other ways unarudisha even more than that. Kwa kama ukitumia lifestyle modification peke yake au any other way that you would use, utarudisha back up to 90%. 95% actually of the weight that you lost. Because still, hata kama bado unapata rebound, lakini it has been shown kwamba in a much more sustaining effect. Kwamba yes, utarudisha a bit, lakini not as much as you would have kama ungetumia any other modality.
True.
Okay, sawa. Just by conclusion, in terms of tukiangalia availability na cost ya hizi medications, what like zinapatikana tuseme Tanzania, Afrika, na gharama yake ikoje tuseme?
I've met a couple of patients who have used it, so I think it's available. It can be available. I've never heard of a place where you can just go as a walk-in and get it, but I know about a lot of ways that you can source it into the country, so I'm sure there's a way. Kuna njia tofauti za kuipata, ukitaka kuipata. Yeah, actually including Medikea for sure. Like if you need it, you can contact us. We can source it for you, and we can actually advise you and guide you through the use in terms of what dose should you start with, which will be the best mode of administration for you. As I said, there are injectables and oral pills. Yeah, what dose should you start with, and how are you going to adjust that dose going up? And actually starting with what's your target body weight, what are you trying to get out of this, because that's very important. As you said, kuna watu wengi sana ambao wana misuse, wana overdose na vitu kama hivyo, kwa sababu wanakuwa wanataka kupungua uzito lakini hawana target na hawajui hiyo target inabidi ifikiwe vipi. So I think that's where we come in. We think it's something that has been approved, it's FDA approved, so it's something that is safe to use and has very minimal side effects as far as we know. So I think at this point we would like to help people and guide them on the better way to get it and the better way to use it.
I think important to point out hapo ni kwamba pia most of the studies ambazo zimefanyika na Ozempic, whatever, Wegovy, Manjaro, is all these, as you said, ziko coupled, yani zinaenda pamoja na lifestyle modification, and most of this has been together with a dietitian or a nutritionist. So you take, it's like a plan that you have to go through. So even initially we want to make sure kwamba you check all the, kama hauna issues za, kumekuwa na concerns za issues za pancreatitis, kama mtu ana pancreatitis inaweza ikaleta effect, lakini not a lot of studies has been done, kama tulivyosema, it's just a few years. So that's why we make sure kwamba before you start, you get your in-depth consultation with a dietitian or a nutritionist, you get a few tests done just to make sure kwamba we don't have any derangements ambazo zinaweza zikaleta madhara baadaye, and then we make sure that you get the right dosing over time. And that, I think, data research ambazo zimefanyika zimeonyesha positive outcomes when it has been done like that. So
I think another big advantage about Ozempic is that I know a lot of people who have been struggling to lose weight, but they've been trapped with addiction of their cravings and what they eat. So as you stated, that you have to, when you're using Ozempic, you have to incorporate lifestyle adjustment. So some people might be worried, like, I've always been struggling to adjust my lifestyle and has not been possible, so maybe this won't work for me because it's very hard for me to overcome my addiction. The good thing is Ozempic has a primary effect of working or dealing with your addiction. So like, since as I said, it works primarily in the brain, so it's gonna fix your addiction. So the medication itself is gonna help you with the other part of it, which is lifestyle modification, which is one of the good thing about it.
Yeah. So I think it's available. You can reach out to us if you want to, and I think the price also it's pretty expensive kwa dozi ya mwezi. I think what we've seen in the US has been around $600 kwa dozi ya mwezi, which is like a once weekly for the injections. So itakuwa ni more or less hapo kwenye moja na kitano plus or minus. And so every there's a lot more being produced, kwa price pay inashuka. So I think we've covered much of what we wanted to cover. Thank you if you've been with us all the way until now. If you have any other questions regarding, all these Ozempic, Wegovy, Manjaro, if any concern or questions, you can always reach out to us. And also be sure to read our article that will be shared as a link to this video. Tumeelezea pia zaidi through our blog. If you want a consultation with Dr. Peter online, you can do that through our application, Amboni Medikea. You can get it on iOS or Android. Any parting words?
Well, yeah, maybe one thing. I read this publication about a certain professor who said we live in a world which is as obesogenic as it can get, as you can ever think. Yeah, the way you say carcinogenic, obesogenic, like we live in an environment where you are more likely to be obese than ever. Yeah, and that's
lifestyle.
And that's because of lifestyle. And we live in an environment which pushes that lifestyle. And as much as that is an artificial problem, which is man-made problem, there's a man-made solution.
Which
And
is there.
currently, right now, what seems to be working, except bariatric surgery, is Ozempic. So
science.
that's an artificial solution for an artificial problem. As much as we want to change the world for the future, and as much as we should for the future generation, there's something that can work right now for people who have been struggling with weight loss, with obesity, and some other complications of non-communicable diseases.
All right.
So thank you, and yeah, this was a nice chat.
Yeah, thanks again. Be sure to follow us if you'd like to share this with a friend. And karibu, this is Life in Balance.